Hello again everybody, and welcome to another Scott Tilley photography vlog. Now this morning I wanted to do something a little bit different. The reason being, I've just got a new camera, Sony A7ii, with a 24-70 lens, and I realised that for a lot of people that's quite an expensive piece of kit to be using. But what I also like to do, I also like to get what they call legacy lenses. So this morning what I thought I'd do, I've actually picked up I've had for a while actually, a Pentax 135mm prime lens, and I've also now picked up a Pentax 50mm lens as well, which is a 1.7 version. Now you can pick these lenses up for 20-30 quid on eBay, and the interesting thing is that you don't have to use these lenses with a camera like the A7 Mark II or 3 or the A7. You can actually use it with, and I did use it with my Sony A6000, which, you know, nowadays you can pick up on eBay probably for between £200 and £300, which makes it a real reasonable camera setup with those lenses. Now at the minute we've got bright blue skies, which I'm not complaining about because it's wonderful, but it does make shooting pretty difficult. Now bearing in mind one of my previous videos where I shot bluebells in the woods, I thought what I'd do today is come into the woods again, try and shoot some woodland flowers, but try and do them all with either my 50mm lens or my 135mm lens, and see what results we get. Because for me that shows that, you know, you don't need an expensive camera, and we're always saying you don't need an expensive camera to get good shots. So yeah, let's see if we can prove it. Hi again everybody, I think this is my first shot of the day, and it's a pretty simple composition really. I am struggling with the harshness of the light, but I'm still in Gamston Wood, and I've come to the far end, and I think it's where you climb a little bit then the bluebells start. I don't think they like it as wet as it is down in the bottom there. But there's these little white flowers here mixed in with the bluebells, which looks really nice. It just reminds me of like a foamy sea, if you like, of flowers. It's difficult to get a good composition because the wood's very chaotic, and I've seen some images of bluebell woods taken, and it looks like somebody's been in and cleared all the debris off the floor. You know, it's completely clear. You've just got the straight tree trunks and then the bluebells, which looks really nice. Here is more, I'd say, natural. It's just left to its own devices in a way, but I've found a composition I like. And yeah, I don't know if you can see, that's what I'm looking at there, which, yeah, it's a really nice image. So yeah, I've taken the image. I'm using my 50mm Pentax A lens. It's at f11 and 13th of a second ISO 50. Now I can't say for 100% sure yet, but hopefully you'll see when I get this back onto the computer and I put it up on the video that the Pentax lens is doing a fabulous job. As I say, 25 quid from eBay. You then have, and I'll show you on the front of the camera, you have the lens here, and then here's just a little adapter. I mean, you don't need anything special. I can't remember what this one is. It's some Chinese brand, I think, but again, that's about 25-30 quid. There's no electronic componentry in there, so it's all completely manual, but you don't particularly need anything else, you know, for this type of photography. It's not like you're doing action photography where you need autofocus or anything. And as I think I've mentioned before in my last video, which I'll link to up here where I was shooting bluebells, these cameras have got, and the A6000 has as well, it's got focus peaking on it, which I don't know whether you can see on the back of the camera there. So all that red is what's in focus. So basically everything in that image is now in focus. and you just do that manually, and it turns the bits red that are in focus. So if you turn the focus wheel on the lens, and I'll do that now for you, you'll probably see that that changes. So obviously I want everything in focus, so I turn it until there, and we've got it.
Hey, I heard you want to leave this place where we grew up. This old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always...
Right, hi again. It's hot today, really, really hot. I've got a second shot, and what I thought I'd try and do is, with this 50mm lens, is try and see what its macro capabilities are like. Now, normally when I used to shoot things like flowers, etc., single blooms, I would use a macro lens. Macro lenses are expensive, and I thought, as soon as I was testing this 50mm lens out, it would be a good test for it to see what it can actually achieve, you know, just as a normal standard prime manual lens for 25 quid. So if you can see down here, I've set the camera up really low to the ground, and there's one, I'll show it you there, there's one, there we go, one single bluebell. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with that image. I mean, shot it at ISO 50. I've tried 1.7 as the aperture, but I'm not sure how sharp that is, how pin sharp, so I have stopped it down a little bit more to about 2.8 and in between. And yeah, it does look sharp, but I'm in the wood here, it's really bright. One of the things with these Sony cameras is the screens aren't brilliant in really harsh light, I find, so I tend to look through the viewfinder. But obviously it's lying on the floor here in the wood, it's not as easy as sat at a computer looking at it on Photoshop. So yeah, we'll see how it comes out, but I'm pretty happy with that for a £25 lens, and we'll see if we can move on and do some more.
Find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run. The river's gonna cry when you're gone.
Just one important point to note with regard to these vintage lenses, or to be honest any lens, they behave differently on different cameras. So on my A7 Mark II, a 50mm lens is a 50mm lens. On the A6000 it'll be something like a 70mm lens because of the crop factor on the sensor. So that's something to bear in mind. Obviously if you wanted something like a 50, you'd probably have to go down to something like a 28mm prime lens, which, you know, are similar prices to the 50. So yeah, just thought that was important to mention.
Where will you go? Won't you miss the ones you know? I'll be here, hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like time as a wave passing by.
Right, the light now is so harsh. I mean, I think you can see behind me, it's about lunchtime, and even the woodlands struggling now to get me a decent shot because the light is now so bright, even in here, and it's absolutely red hot. So I'm going to make my way back to the car. I thought I'd use this opportunity to sum up with regard to these, what they call legacy lenses. Basically lenses that you can buy off eBay from the 1970s, 80s, 90s that were used on film cameras, I suppose, and you can actually use them with an adapter on your current digital camera. I'm talking particularly Sony, because obviously that's the model I use, and I tend to use Pentax lenses because that's the adapter I've got. And what I would say is, from my experience, yeah, you can, you know, there's not a problem. Probably makes you work a little bit harder, you know, you've got no autofocus, and if you're used to using autofocus all the time, it can be, you know, a bit of a culture shock, I suppose. But for me, I use the focus peaking on the back of the camera. I don't tend to use autofocus an awful lot, so it's not really an issue for me. as regards the shots, well, you know, judge for yourself on this vlog. In my opinion, yeah, sharpness wise, if you get the right lens, not a problem. And there's plenty of forums that will tell you and show you example shots taken with different lenses. I know particularly for Pentax there is. If you Google Pentax Vintage Lenses or whatever, there's forums that show pictures that have been taken with various lenses. And yeah, so give it a go. I mean, I think you'll be surprised. 30 quid, you can get a nice prime lens that will take some wonderful shots. I would steer clear of the zoom lenses. The ones that I've had in the past don't really match the quality of a prime lens. But yeah, if you stick to a prime lens, get yourself an adapter and yeah, give it a go.
Leave a mark in our nights to turn to memories. River's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. River's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. River's gonna cry.
Right, if you've enjoyed this vlog, then please give me a like on the thumbs up button there below. And if you want to see more of my content, I upload every week. You can click on the subscribe button and also on the bell, which means that you'll get a email every time I put some new content up there. I hope you've enjoyed it. There'll be more of these to come, and I'll see you soon.
Hey, I was hoping you would stay, but I've always known that you would go and find your own way. I still see when we climbed